Hey, that's a great job, man. Right, all three phases, just gutsy football. It's going to be like that down the stretch, right? That's how we prepare. It's going to be like that. Great job, and then defense, way to come out and seal the game. Great win, man.
Hey, I won or 100, man. It don't matter. 1 on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Finding a way. Finding a way every week. That was the Buffalo Bills.
No overthinking, right? Go play some ball. Go play some football.
It's an exciting time to be a Buffalo Bill and a fan of the Buffalo Bills.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into Week 15 of the Sean McDermott Show presented by Kaleida Health. Coach, thanks for being with us once again. As always, you're coming off a 4-game win streak, a gritty win against a really good Jet football team. What did you learn about your club?
Well, you know, when you're coming down the stretch like we are, you got to have some guts, and they had guts. I mean, when you look at the way the game was flowing, we weren't in rhythm earlier offensively. Defense was holding them off, and then offensively we got into a rhythm. They come back, score after half, offense counters. So I liked being able to answer and counter when we needed to.
Yeah, we'll start with your defense. They had 4 sacks. They got a couple of turnovers. They held the offense of the Jets just to 10 points overall. They only had 76 yards rushing. How does it feel to have your defense step up in such a physical manner, bad weather conditions, in a game you knew was going to be, points were going to be a premium?
Yeah, well, we had to, and I think the defense has been putting together some good games consecutively now, and they're playing physical, more physical maybe than they were before. Still much work to be done on the tackling end of things. When we're getting people to the ball, it's a good thing.
Let's talk about some guys who are starting to blossom maybe. Greg Rousseau, Von Miller goes out this last week. You get that news. And you kind of wonder how the young guys are going to say, okay, now it's our chance. Let's show what Von has taught us. Greg Rousseau steps up. He gets 2 sacks and a forced fumble. What do you expect from, like, Greg with Von being out? What kind of conversations do you have with him about how he can expand his role?
Yeah. You know, Greg's one of the guys, I've probably shared this with you before, Steve, that when Von got here, he was in his hip pocket all the time. And he took notes. He was seen a lot of the time in conversations with Von. So that's paying off now because he took full advantage of his time around Von.
Right. So another guy on the defense, Matt Milano, he's having an all-pro season. Game high, 9 tackles this last week, had a tackle for loss. He's now got 12 tackles for loss on the year, fumble recovery, 2 pass breakups. So he had that huge hit on Mike White that forced him out of the game for a minute. What is elite about Matt Milano?
Probably his mindset more than anything. He's an athletic player. Yes, everyone can see that, but his mindset, he's so focused week to week. He's so determined, so physical, plays bigger than his size. It's just a great guy to have on our team.
All right, so let's talk about Josh. You got this 4-game winning streak, and Josh hasn't been really the centerpiece of the wins, although he always plays pretty well. He hasn't thrown for 300 yards. He threw for a season low, 147 against the Jets, but he rushed for 47 yards, led the team. Diggs, season low, 37 receiving yards. You punted 8 times. I mean, there were times you didn't punt 8 times in a month, right? Give us a state of the union of the offense right now and going in against a team like the Jets in those conditions.
Well, I thought, we could have been in a better rhythm maybe earlier and then also a little bit more efficient throughout the day and consistent. I think consistency and efficiency go together, right? So staying out of those 3rd and longs, obviously, and we had 4 drives where we scored points. Would have loved some of those field goals to have been touchdowns that would have made the margin that much more. But, there's work to be done, and that's why we practice, that's why we prepare, and we're trying to play our best football down the stretch.
All right, thanks, Coach. We're going to catch back up with you later in the show to get your final thoughts on facing the Miami Dolphins this Saturday.
The Game Plan is presented by Energy Mark. Trust Energy Mark for renewable energy supply.
Coming up, Eric Wood breaks down the game tape from the win over the Jets in Chopping Wood. Plus, we look at a sneak preview of the newest episode of The M&M Show.
Chopping Wood is presented by St. Bonaventure University, an official education partner of the Buffalo Bills.
Welcome back to the Sean McDermott Show, and it's time to look back at the tape from the Bills' win over the Jets. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done. What stood out to you?
Yeah, sometimes in ugly conditions, in the sleet, in the rain, in the cold yesterday, add the win on it, you're going to have to win ugly in this league. And it was great to see the defense step up in this game. We were wondering what this defensive line would be like without Von Miller. Well, the last 2 weeks, the defensive line stepped up in a big way. We saw great effort from Oliver, Rousseau, Lawson, and Epinesa. The defensive line had 4 sacks in this game. Greg Rousseau had 2 of them himself.
Well, let's start with Rousseau's first sack of the game. It came on 1st and 10, right near midfield.
On this play, we're going to see immediate penetration from Ed Oliver. So the Jets are trying to run hard play action. They pulled their right guard, and this is a very tough block for a center. I've gone against defensive tackles quick like Ed Oliver. That's a very tough block on the center. So Ed causes the initial pressure on the play. Greg Rousseau, rushing from the left defensive end position, keeps his outside contained. It's a run read initially for him, but he stays alive here and is able to come up with the sack.
And then in the second quarter, the Jets were driving again, and Epinesa came off the edge to force a fumble. What did you see here?
On this play, Epinesa is rushing against the tight end. That is a mismatch. Conklin's laid out of his stance, and so Epinesa gets up the field. Now, Mike White is unable to step up into the pocket because of the penetration from Edmonds adding on the blitz on this play. So again, the Bills are able to come up with the sack here, forces the fumble on the play, and luckily for the Jets, they're able to fall on it.
Okay, now let's fast forward to the second half, and Matt Milano made the biggest hit of the game. How does he get this free to take a run at Mike White?
So here, Brewer's going to cross the center's face, and so it draws the right side of that offensive line with him. Edmonds going to add as the blitzer on the running back, and so he's man-to-man on the running back, so he adds on the blitz, and then Milano comes on the delayed blitz and lays an absolute kill shot on Mike White. And this is a perfect hit by Matt Milano. It's so hard nowadays to hit the quarterbacks like this, to get a hit this big on the quarterback and have it not be a penalty. But he perfectly uses his shoulder, not his head. He doesn't drive his weight into the quarterback on top of him, and he never leaves his feet either, so it's not spearing. It's a heck of a play by Matt Milano, who in my opinion is having an all-pro season.
Okay, then so Mike White has to leave the field. And then the very next play, Joe Flacco comes in, and Rousseau comes up with the biggest play of the game. What did you see on this one?
Yeah, Greg Rousseau is going to be rushing from the left defensive end position, and he works the tackle way up the field. And he's going to come back underneath Ed Oliver, who provides a ton of penetration. Again, Flacco is going to think he can step up, but this is not a designed game by the defensive line. It's not a stunt, but Greg Rousseau rushing it very intelligently here, sees the penetration by Oliver, and understands that Joe Flacco is going to step up in the pocket, and he comes up with the sack and the forced fumble.
Now fourth quarter, and Shaq Lawson gets a sack. This one also came on 1st and 10, and it pushed the Jets back 11 yards. Break this one down.
Yeah, Shaq Lawson's able to see that it's play action. They're coming back across the formation with a wham block on Shaq, and he sees that this is not a run play. The offensive line is all working flat down the line of scrimmage. If Shaq would have seen that left tackle get up the field, he would have understood that this is a run play. He sees the offensive line all work flat. He's a veteran defensive end, has a lot of intelligence out there, so he keeps his contained, and he's right there for when Mike White tries to roll out of the pocket. Again, a nice clean hit. Very smart play on all these sacks, not to get roughing the passer penalties.
Great stuff as always. Thanks for this, Eric. We'll catch up with you next week.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Steve.
Next up on the Sean McDermott Show, take a sneak preview of the newest episode of the M&M Show. And later, we look at the next-gen stats on Sportsology.
Welcome into this week's episode of the M&M Show. Micah, Hyde, and Maddy Glab
I
here.
do like Eminem. I do. I would like Micah and Maddy better, but carry on. We can do Eminem.
I thought we discussed this. I thought we were cool with the M&M, and I mean, I want Maddy and Micah show, but
Carry on. This is going to be something we talk about each and every week.
Brandon Bean told me if it's not the M&M show, if you want Micah first, I'm getting the boot out of here.
Bean told you that?
Yeah, he told me.
All right, after this, I'll call Bean. I'm not scared to do that.
JK.
I'll talk to him.
We're going to talk NFL, we're going to talk Buffalo Bills, we're going to talk some pop culture and things that happen around One Bills Drive, because Micah Hyde definitely knows it best. We're going to have a lot of fun on this show too, because that is the goal of this show. On the M&M Show, as we decided.
I like it.
Let's get into Fit Check here. And we're just going to start off with a bang here. Stephon Diggs.
Listen,
Let's
I
Let's walk
saw this.
through this.
Yeah, I saw this before the game. I saw this. You know, everyone's retweeting it, and I'm looking at it now. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this fit. That's Diggs. He's, you know, fly guy. He likes to show up, you know, with some loud stuff.
Do we think that's a Birkin?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. But, I mean, I know I can't pull it off, so I can't judge it off that. That's Diggs' fashion. So, you know, if it makes him play good, keep doing you, Diggs. Keep doing you.
I think the over the face, I just got the beekeeper vibes, which I love beekeepers. I mean, bees are so cool. I love the jacket. I love the brown and the pop of pink and the cream.
Yeah.
I like the colors and how they all came
I can
together.
see beekeeper. I can see that. Now that you say that,
That's
I can
what
see
I was
that
getting.
for sure. Yeah.
I was saying next week we need to like try and hunt down the designers that he was wearing and try to explain.
We should. That's the
I have no
next
idea,
step
but
to
it
fit
looks
check.
good. That's the next step to fit check.
Can we get somebody on
failed
that?
You guys.
Can we get somebody on
failed
that?
you guys.
All right.
I got it. Next up, Shaq Lawson. He was.
Woo-hoo, that boy Shaq. Hey.
I am in love with this outfit.
This is a front runner.
Pink is his color.
This is a front runner for sure. And I saw this jacket. I saw him walking in. I was like, yo, Shaq, that. Once again, like Saran last week, you know, I said it, you can't come in this locker room and not make plays if you're wearing that. And he went and balled out.
Shades and the
I know,
shirt
that's
and
fly.
like the kind of bell-bottom jeans that he's
With the
rocking
pink
and the
shoes.
pink shoes, like chef's kiss.
Yeah.
He looked
Shaq
so
did
good,
that.
and he played good against his
That's what
former
I'm saying.
team.
That's what I'm saying. When you put on the fit and you show up and you come with a purpose, you know, the field work takes care of itself. You know, that's just how it is.
Start with the fit. All right, we talked about the
Trey,
gray
baby.
pants that Trey always wears.
So you switched it up.
No, he was gray all day. Gray all day, baby. Look at Trey. It ain't no thing. I'm just walking over to the stadium for the game.
You know what? I'm not even gonna comment on this one just because Tre'Davious is just funny. He's just young Shaq, man. That's my boy. I love him to death. He's just, you know, whatever. I guess comfort is what he wants.
Comfort
He
is
wants to
key.
be warm and comfortable coming into the game.
He played in most of the game. He
All the
played
game.
a lot of snaps.
Yeah, all the game.
The entire
Yeah.
game.
Yep. So, you know,
So he's
Trey,
got to be comfy
I
walking
see
on
you,
the
but
stadium.
he's hiding. He's hiding. He has some fits to put on. We just got to catch him. We'll catch him one of these times.
All right, Trey, you heard us. You heard us. So we gave Roger Saffold a point last week. That was who I picked.
Yeah.
You picked
Saran.
Saran Neal. So they've got a point each. We're going to assign point totals here as we move on in this season of the show. Who is the best dressed in your eyes?
Well, like I said, I got to go with that pink coat. I got to go with the pink coat. Shaq Lawson. Ty Crane. Crane Ski. He has all the nicknames and he has the fashion. So I'm going with Crane.
Okay, I'm going to say the same thing because
He's getting
pink,
2 points.
Pink is
He's gonna
his
take the lead.
color.
He's gonna take the lead.
He's going to take the lead.
Okay, Crane.
I loved it so
see
much. And
We got to zoom in on that piece, though. I got to see what that piece says.
Fabulous. 90.
It's the 90 piece?
It's the 90 piece, I think.
Oh, man. He
I
got
think
his
he
number
left,
back coming
I
back
think he
to
left
Buffalo.
a chain behind somewhere. It was somewhere in the facility, and one of my coworkers picked it up, and they were like, dang, this is heavy.
He probably even know he lost
This
it.
is
He
heavy.
probably even know he lost it, knowing Crane. But, hey, shout out to Crane. You're up in the lead, what, 2-1-1?
2-1-1.
You better come back next week ready to take a demanding lead. We'll see.
All right, that's Fit Check. We're going to see who has the good looks next week.
Coming up, we take a look at next-gen stats on Sportsology. And later on, Coach previews a Saturday night showdown with the Dolphins.
Sportsology is presented by ECMC. ECMC, bringing hope and healing to Western New York.
Josh going to throw. Pocket collapsing. Darts up the middle, going to run with it. Keeps it and runs with it. 35 across the 40. Gets spun around, and he goes down. And he's got the first down at the 41-yard line.
It's 3rd down and 15 from Buffalo's 25-yard line. The Bills' offense is in an 11 personnel setup against a 4-2-5 Jets nickel defense. Josh Allen is in the shotgun. When the ball is snapped, Allen drops back to survey the open field. He looks right before running through the left side B gap through an open hole. Allen hurdles over safety LaMarcus Joyner, but is hit by linebacker Quincy Williams in midair, still picking up the Bills' first down. It took Allen 4 seconds to decide whether to run for the first down. He ran for 12.5 yards before contact and picked up an additional 3.5 yards after contact. Allen ran for a total of 36.76 yards and topped out at a speed of 17.25 miles per hour. This play had a first down probability of 22.9%, and it took 8.1 seconds to complete.
Now the snap. Allen looks, fires it downfield. Caught by Dawson Knox at the 8. Dives into the end zone. He is in. Touchdown.
It's first down and 10 from New York's 24. Again, the Bills' offense is in an 11 personnel setup against a 4-2-5 Jets nickel defense. Josh Allen is in the shotgun with tight end Dawson Knox aligned in the right slot. The ball is snapped and Knox runs a corner route. Allen waits 3.04 seconds before firing a 14.6-yard pass to Knox. Knox runs, dives, and flips for an additional 9.5 yards and the Bills' touchdown. Allen's pass traveled at a speed of 47.42 miles per hour. Knox traveled the furthest of any player, running for 37.49 total yards. He topped out at 15.42 miles per hour, and the play had a 62.6% completion probability. With this week's Sportsology, I'm Chris Brown.
Still to come on the Sean McDermott Show, Maddy Glab and Chris Brown preview Saturday night's matchup with the Dolphins, and Coach tells us what it will take to improve to 11-3.
Game Preview is presented by Independent Health. You deserve the red shirt treatment.
Welcome into this week's game preview. Maddy Glab alongside Chris Brown, and the Bills are getting ready to face the Miami Dolphins. With the snow in the forecast, their offensive game plan could be very impacted. If this becomes a true ground and pound game, the Dolphins, that's kind of their weakness on offense. They rank 29th in terms of running the football, averaging 89 rushing yards a game. We've gotten some consistency out of the young defensive linemen, especially in last week's game against the Jets. We're hoping for that again against the Dolphins. But when you look at how you shut down what the Dolphins do on offense, what do the Bills need to do on defense in terms of run defense? And then Tyreek Hill is going to be a factor whether it snows or not.
Yeah, I'm really not worried about the run defense. The Miami offensive line is still trying to heal up from some injuries, which had their two starting offensive tackles out of the way. They're trying to work their way back in. Looks like Armstead will play. Austin Jackson's on IR, so they got a backup over there. And look, the run front's been pretty good. So I think if they just keep on keeping on, you're fine there. As far as Tua in the passing game, you want to shut down the middle of the field. It's almost like when teams figured out Lamar Jackson doesn't like throwing outside the numbers, and people would say, okay, throw outside the numbers, we're going to shut down the middle of the field. That's what the Chargers did last week in the Sunday night game. It worked to perfection. Tua's 3 of 17 passing at halftime. The interesting thing is San Francisco took a much different approach. They played a ton of zone defense and shut him down that way. Which one do the Bills pick, or is it a mix of both? Leslie Frazier's got a lot on the menu this week.
Yeah, it'll definitely be tough to tell what's going to happen as we await what weather is going to come on Saturday night. It's going to be a good game with playoff implications on the line.
Coach, you're at home, short week. You're hosting the 8-5 Dolphins. They beat you in a close one in week 3. Seems like a lifetime ago, and they've lost now 2 in a row. What did you learn about them that you can bring into this game in that week 3 matchup?
Well, they're a vertical passing team. They've got great athleticism on offense, great speed. They have good length on the defensive side. They like to present a lot of different looks, 7 guys up at the line of scrimmage, 7 guys dropping out at times as well. So they give you a lot of different looks. They put a lot of pressure on you offensively and defensively.
All right, so I know you coaches look at every snap those guys play. Fans look back at the last time you played. In that week 3 matchup, Tua was 13 of 18, buck 86 and a touchdown. Tyreek, 2 receptions for 33 yards. Waddle, only 4 receptions for 102 yards. Statistically, you kept a lid on their offense. How much of an impact in a game like this at this time of year, when it was the heat in Miami, now it's going to be the cold in Buffalo, how's that going to affect this game?
Well, we'll see. I think that remains to be seen on how significant the weather is that we could get. We know it's going to be cold. It's always cold this time of year, and we love that in Western New York, and I know our fans do too.
Right. Now, also this game, Trey White's back. Jordan Poyer, Dane Jackson, Ed Oliver, Mitch Morse, they all missed that game in week 3. What Does that change for your team coming into this game?
Yeah, it doesn't change much, Steve. It's never about one player. The players that are out there, they play. They're expected to do their jobs, and we've got to play well. That's at the end of the day. That's what it comes down to. Our level of play, our quality of play, has got to improve.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck this week against Miami. We're going to catch up with you next week to recap your game against Miami and preview the upcoming game with the Chicago Bears. And for you at home, thanks for watching the Sean McDermott Show presented by Kaleida Health. And as always, go Bills.
Final Thoughts is presented by Toyota. Toyota is the exclusive and official vehicle of the Buffalo Bills. Toyota, let's go places. The Sean McDermott Show is presented by Kaleida Health, the official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills. By Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys. Call 716-684-COMP today. By Toyota. Toyota is the exclusive and official vehicle of the Buffalo Bills. Toyota, let's go places. And by Independent Health. You deserve the red shirt treatment.